Welcome to NDC Today. I am your host, Crystal, and I have the wonderful opportunity to talk to the district's most phenomenal movers and shakers. Today we have Mr. Barrington Little, and I want to first start with thanking you for being on the show today, our very first show. And it's a pleasure already talking to you. We talked a little earlier and just getting an opportunity to know you. So first, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, born and raised here in the district, proud about that. Graduate of DeMatha Catholic High School.
Okay.
Played football there, was in the band, went off to school in Rhode Island, played football there as well.
Okay.
Gave the professional circuit a run there for a little bit and got injured at a pro day.
Okay.
And that kind of got the ball rolling to where I am today in life.
Okay. And now where are you today? What did that lead to?
So, as you say, make a long story bearable, I've had a couple of stints here and there in the government, but as far as my sports background is concerned, I am what they would consider a sports consultant or a sports entrepreneur per se. I have a TV show that I host on YouTube right now.
Really?
It's in its beginning stage. It's called
Yeah.
In the Trenches.
Okay.
Where we focus on nothing but the play of the offense and defensive lineman.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot of people out there that they can tell me who the quarterback is, they can tell me the running back is, the wide receiver. But if I ask you, say, okay, who's the left tackle, who's the guard,
Right.
who's the defensive lineman, they couldn't tell me.
And you're absolutely right.
Yeah, see them
You're
right there.
absolutely right. So I wanted to ask you, you mentioned that you have a thing for music.
Right.
As well as myself. So in high school, I played saxophone,
Okay.
alto, in the band. So I'm familiar with the sport.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, not maybe as much as I need to be.
Okay.
Right, but I'm familiar with football. As it relates to, say, for example, an orchestra.
Right.
What instrument would you say the linemen are in this orchestra? How does it fit in?
Because I was a trombone player, I would say the brass
so?
section.
Okay.
So we're talking about the tubas, the trombones, the euphoniums. But for those out there that are not so musically inclined,
Mm-hmm.
the linemen kind of push the game to keep the game going. So with that being said, I would have to say it would probably be a percussion section.
Okay, so
'Cause
that
they
gives the beat.
It keeps it going.
Okay.
Right? It brings life to it. So
Okay.
definitely say the
Awesome.
percussion section.
Awesome. So as a result, is that the reason why you said you want to place more emphasis on the linemen, those that are in
Absolutely.
the trenches,
Absolutely.
because they do have a very important role to play.
Absolutely.
So tell us a little bit more about that.
Okay, so I'm working with a gentleman, my partner, his name is Sudan Ellington. He's the founder of Big Skills Academy.
Okay.
I call him the lineman whisperer.
Right.
And so, me playing the position that I played, I was able to see him as someone, I'm like, yo, this guy knows what he's doing. And his work speaks for himself. He's the, Big Skills Academy.
Okay.
And he literally trains the cream
Just
of the crop.
linemen.
Yeah, just linemen in the trenches,
Those in the
offensive,
trenches.
defensive linemen. But we're talking about his resume speaks for itself. So the majority of his kids finish all Met. A lot of them go Division I, and we have a couple in the NFL right now. So
Okay.
what he's teaching them from a football perspective and also off the field,
Okay.
life skills, just trying to keep these kids encouraged. That's something that I latched on to him, and I say, hey man, let's make this thing happen, and just bringing that back to the forefront. Not a lot of people know what it takes to be a lineman,
Right.
Even on the offense or defense side of the ball.
Absolutely.
And so we're just trying to.
And
shed
I think,
light
so,
on that.
like you mentioned, some of the positions are more popular than
Absolutely.
others. Everyone knows the quarterback.
They look good in their uniforms.
They
right?
do?
We don't look so good in our uniforms, right?
I mean, but you help the game.
We keep the game moving.
It does. And so I wanted to ask you a question in terms of the linemen. Why is it so important to have a strong line?
So I'll go from an offensive lineman perspective. My favorite team, I hate to say this, being that we are in Washington, D.C. I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan.
Okay. Wow.
Right? So
Everybody at home is going, they're like, boo.
I'll apologize out there. But so we'll take this year, for instance. We had a halfway decent year, but there were two rookies that were able to perform above their normal level of a rookie.
Okay.
And a lot of people, yes, they're very talented, Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott, but the kind of the key to their success had to do with the offensive line.
Okay.
Right. So if they don't block, right? If they're not on one accord,
Mm-hmm.
they can't protect Dak.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't open up those holes, they can't get the job done for Zeke.
Right.
Which a lot of people don't talk about them.
Mm-hmm.
You see Ezekiel Elliott, you see Dak Prescott,
Right.
but you don't hear about Tyron Smith. You don't hear about Travis Frederick. You don't hear about Ronald Leary.
Yeah,
you don't hear
absolutely
about
right.
Zach Martin. So,
Right.
you know, we're just trying to bring light to what these kids actually do and how they train, how they think. This is a very cerebral game. After a while, it becomes habit.
Okay.
But there's a lot of thinking that has to be done on the field there. So we just want
Absolutely.
to share
Strategy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We want to bring that to the forefront.
Okay. Now, just playing devil's advocate.
Okay.
There are some parents that would say, you know, I want my child to play,
Right.
but I don't want them on the line.
Right.
Because when you look at the line, like you said, you're blocking, you're tackling,
Right.
you know, and I think some people associate that with a lot of injuries.
Right.
So how are you going to put their nerves at ease? Because I think the way you're teaching it will be a bit different
Right.
from how it has been taught.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So what makes the difference?
Well, one, I would definitely say you would have to come by and check us out,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
We're,
That's fair.
we're at Premier Fitness in Landover, Maryland. Training is happening right now during the off season. But I can say that the way Sudan teaches these children, these kids, these young men, it's extremely technically sound, right? So he's not going to tell you to block with your head down. He's not going to tell you to block with your forearms out.
Okay.
So it's just certain things that we work on, fundamentals, right? Because that builds the solid base. When you have core solid fundamentals, it kind of increases your chances of protecting yourself while you're out there in the field.
And how long is the program?
I think it goes all the way up to, when did we start initially? In March, and it'll probably go until some of the kids start back up in football season. So I'll say from March till July, August, we start to taper down.
Okay. And so you already had the first cohort that rotating through the program.
Right.
How has it been for them?
Oh man, it's been extremely successful. These kids, and if you follow either In the Trenches on Instagram or YouTube, or you follow Big Skills Academy, you can see the caliber and the growth of these children. Like they're going to Miami, Florida State, Ohio State. This kid, Sudan, he's had his hands on a lot of different guys in some way, shape, and form. And so as far as this area is concerned, I think he's the cream of the crop.
That is awesome. And so the goal is, what is the 5-year plan for your program?
The 5-year plan is to build a show where pretty much you, instead of knowing Tom Brady, you know who's blocking for Tom Brady. So, and just also just to educate people that this is where the game is won on the offensive defensive line. And so we just want to help and also bring exposure to kids, because there's a lot of recruitment that's happening just by college coaches going on YouTube. So if they see, absolutely.
So they're turning to social media now?
Absolutely. Things have changed since I've been in school.
So are they uploading their videos from their games?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's a whole different dynamic as far as getting exposure out there.
Okay.
So yeah.
And you're also training them online as well. So coaches can log on, get tips, share them with their teammates. But the hope is that they would bring you in and to have you to mentor and to coach them the proper way.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So let's kind of pivot a bit.
Okay.
Because in addition to starting the program where you help young people to grow, one of the things we talked about was also exposing them to internships and entrepreneurship.
Right.
Can you tell us a little bit more
Absolutely.
about that component of the program?
You know, sometimes, majority of the time, it's fun, right? You're having a blast, but a lot of it has to do with money, right? The bottom line. So with that being said, you're there to do one thing: go to school and train, right? And you don't have
and you're doing that the entire
time.
Absolutely.
So like I could tell you just from my experience, during a break or something of that nature, I didn't get to go home a lot.
And you're right, because when I was in college, we rarely saw the athletes.
It's
true.
You're always grinding, so you didn't get the opportunities that normal students got. And a lot of these kids, they have these abroad immersion programs where they go wherever they have an opportunity to go, Korea,
just around the world,
all over the world.
Okay.
And so we want to give student athletes the same opportunity, right? So with that being said, my partner, Robert Norris, instead of, he didn't get an opportunity to play in the NFL, but he did do the international professional football circuit. So he played in Brazil, he played in Australia.
Okay.
And while he was there, it was kind of okay, you're playing, but guess what? We need somebody to help market. We need somebody to help us with business development.
Yes.
So this guy literally, after he's taking his helmet and shoulder pads off, he's going to the team facility and writing up promotional marketing pieces and doing community outreach so that the people in the community are, you know,
aware
engaged
what's
what's going on,
as
because
well
this
as
is a brand new sport.
Exactly.
And it's an emerging market. So with that being said, we want to create a program, and it's definitely in its developing stages, where we take these kids from local universities, and we have some insight on a couple, we talked about that, a couple of universities in the area where we can actually get these kids and allow them to travel overseas, get that internship opportunity.
Absolutely.
And experience.
And usually they will have to do their internships
Exactly.
at different times of the year.
Exactly.
Because they're in training during certain months.
Exactly. And
so
that's kind of the catch-all. Besides, which college student wouldn't want to go to Brazil?
Absolutely.
And you get that hands-on experience.
And have another major. It could major in business.
Exactly.
Finances.
Because odds are, you know, you're not gonna, I hate to say it, but it's a very select percentage to actually make it to play professional.
And we talked about that. What was the percentage that you mentioned?
Don't quote me on this, but I think it's about anywhere between 2 to 3% actually make it.
To
correct, professional
football.
Because the NCAA is huge. So you have Division I, Division I AA, Division II, and Division III. So it's a massive pool.
Right.
But, you know.
2%.
Yeah, it's
2 to 3%.
2 to 3%. And then also on the other side of that, those hard skills and experience that you get from these internships opportunity, we contend that, let's just say you do make it, right? You do make it to the league. Okay. You get injured, right? Because the average career in the NFL is 3 to 5 years. And another thing, I don't want to just pigeonhole this to football.
Absolutely.
Right?
We're looking at
the whole picture.
The whole picture.
Right. What are you going to do when that career is over with?
Right.
Right. So how are you going to be able to go into the corporate workforce? You want to start your own business? Where are you getting those skills from? So
that is awesome.
Thank you.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, I'm excited. I really am.
And you're at one of my alums, so you know. Yeah. So I mean, again, congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm pretty sure everyone now will be ringing your phone.
I hope so. I appreciate
so you could come and give that wisdom and offer advice, as well as exposing our athletes to other opportunities beyond the field.
Exactly.
Because you said usually 3 years is the lifespan, but we want to take them beyond that.
Right,
so
exactly.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. This is awesome. I
Absolutely.
Really appreciate it.
All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. We will be right back with another guest. Stay tuned, and we'll talk to her in just a few seconds.
C squared. Take a look at the diagram here.
Welcome back. As promised, I now have Lauryn here with me, Miss Lauryn Scot. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited.
And I was so excited talking to you earlier because we share so much in common.
Yeah.
I just wanted to dance in my shoes. And anytime I want to dance, that means that's a good sign.
Oh,
right?
yay.
So we have a lot in common. First and foremost, we graduated from the same university, Howard University.
HU.
So, and now you have transitioned into doing community work, right? And so tell me a little bit more about that.
Okay, so it happened last year around July, after the death of Philando Castile. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but it was a young man who was driving in a car with his fiance and his child in the back seat. He told the officer that he was licensed to carry, and the officer then shot him. And then the girlfriend recorded the rest of the situation.
Right.
And so once that video went viral, I knew that we had to do something about it. I was tired of hashtagging new names every week because of police brutality. So the DC community came together. We actually met at Smith Public Trust around the corner from here.
Okay.
About 300 people came out.
Wow.
And yeah, it was a huge turnout. And everyone was on one accord, and we knew that we had one mission, and that was to help the community.
Okay.
So that day, Call to Action was born.
That's when it birthed and just took
Yes.
off. Okay. So describe to me, what was that moment? Because we do hear about, like you said, the hashtags. You know, we're watching the news, everything is live, you know, on different networks, you know, we have it on our cell phones. So as you were sitting there, your immediate thought was, what? I need to do something.
Yes, I'm tired. I'm tired of
Okay.
seeing this. And I felt like, you know, the last time it happened, I was like, someone will step up and do something.
Yes.
You know, I thought that, you know, I wouldn't have to be the one. When it happened again, I knew that that was like my urge. I
This is
couldn't,
my time.
yeah, I couldn't sit back any longer.
Okay.
And I felt like, well, I'm not an activist. I'm not always, you know, protesting and out in the streets. So who am I to start this organization? But I think that's what the beauty of Call to Action is. It's
Absolutely.
just really organic.
Yes.
And we all just came together as a community and we're like, we have to do something.
Okay.
So I think that's really, you know, what makes Call to Action kind of unique.
Unique.
Yeah.
And so let me ask you this. So once you made the decision to say, you know, I want to do something, then you created, I believe it was a flyer, right?
Yes.
And you posted that on,
So yeah, so it's a funny story. So once we saw, you know, the video that went viral of his death, I went to my roommate and she said, we have to do something. I called a friend. She literally made a poster for our meeting at Smith Public Trust
Okay.
that day. I put it on social media and it went viral. It took off like wildfire.
immediately.
Immediately.
Okay.
And that was the beauty of being a
And
millennial.
why do you
I
think
guess.
that happened? Yes, and being a millennial, you're absolutely right.
I think because everyone at that moment felt so helpless. And, you know, naturally it was early in the morning, naturally you check your timeline, you check your Twitter, your Facebook, your
I'm guilty of
Instagram.
that.
I am very guilty of that. And so I just think seeing that image and, you know, really just feeling so sorry for that family in that moment and feeling so helpless. You know, I think people were just sharing it. They were like, look, we have to go. It's all about being actionable, you know, like what are we going to do to make sure this doesn't happen in DC?
Absolutely. And so what makes your organization different?
Okay. So I get this question a lot. I think what makes our organization different is that we're small and new and we have pure hearts. So we really just want to help the community.
Okay.
So we're all about action. So I know a lot of organizations out there, they talk a good game and they have a lot of plans in place, but no action steps. And we're really about actually making a difference.
Okay.
So, you know, we'll hit the ground running. We'll go door to door. We'll do the research. We'll figure out the problem. You know, we're all from DC or have lived here. I've been here for 11 years now.
Okay.
So I am a resident.
Absolutely.
So I feel like this is my home. So I feel responsible. So I think that's what kind of makes our organization unique and different.
Okay. And so you guys have existed for how long?
So it's coming up on a year. So
1 year.
July 2016 is when we started.
Okay.
So our year anniversary is coming up shortly and we're really excited.
That is awesome. Congratulations. And so the
you.
group is co-ed,
Yes.
consists of both males, females. What
Yes.
about the age range?
So the age range is from 22 to 29. So it is.
That is unique.
It is.
Was that intentional?
It
or-
was not intentional.
Okay.
I think just because of the demographic of who would see my flyer, and you know, between myself and my roommate, our network is just 20 to 29.
Okay. The millennials.
So, yeah, the millennials.
Okay.
So I think that's really what makes it unique. We didn't have like an advisor or a mentor at that moment to really guide us and help bring the older generation in. So I think because of that, it's ours. So we have ownership into it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now, one of what I read too and discussed with you, what I thought was very unique, is that you have developed a curriculum as well. So tell us a little bit more about the curriculum. I believe there are 3 pillars.
Yes.
Right? So tell me again what those pillars are.
Definitely. So Call to Action is based on 3 pillars. And these are 3 areas of interest that we feel that we can make a big impact in the community.
Okay.
So it's economics, education, and political policy.
Wow.
So our education pillar actually created a 9-week curriculum for middle school and high school kids, basically teaching them it's our village wellness curriculum, so it's like a holistic approach. So you get identity wellness, you get advocacy, you get oration skills, you learn Black history. So
Wow.
you really just get a sense of self.
Okay.
And then that way it builds their confidence,
Which is
and
true.
it can reverse the achievement gap, excuse me, in the DC schools.
Okay.
So that's our goal, is to close that gap.
Okay. Now, are they already, this curriculum, are they being used, is it being used within the schools currently?
So yeah, so we are going from different organizations like after school programs and seminars and conferences right now. We haven't infiltrated the DCPS just yet.
Okay.
So we're kind of testing it out to make sure to get all the kinks out before we actually implement it fully into the school's curriculum.
That is phenomenal.
Yeah.
High five.
Thank you.
Awesome. Now, another area that I wanted to pinpoint, and I was just like, okay, black tea.
Yes.
Tell me about black tea.
So Black Tea is a space on our website. So it's ctaction.com, and if you click on Black Tea, it's what's happening in our world. So it's what's happening in the Black community that's positive, uplifting.
Okay.
There's no bad news on Black Tea. It refreshes every week. So if you are ever bored at work, or if you want to just catch
Just need
up,
an uplift to
yeah,
read a positive story.
Exactly. It is
Ah.
all good news.
Okay.
So no bad news on Black Tea, and it's what's going on, our achievements that are happening in real time.
Okay. And just to explain too, when we say black tea, normally the perception of the tea or getting tea is associated with gossip,
Yes.
slander,
Yes.
negative. It has a negative connotation.
Yep.
So you took that same concept and reversed
it.
So now it is positive.
Yep.
Oh, that is awesome. That is awesome. Now, where do you see your organization in 5 years? Where would you like it to be?
Okay. I would love for it to be the millennial NAACP with different
That's
chapters.
heavy.
That is heavy, and I dream big.
Okay.
And with the team I have behind me, we will definitely get there.
That is
I have
awesome.
an amazing team. They're so dedicated. They're always working. They never stop working. They work harder than I do.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh, I need to catch up.
And it's a volunteer.
This is all volunteer. I am not paying any of them.
Wow.
So we all work on the donations from the community at large. So we've been very blessed.
Okay.
But yeah, so I want to see different chapters all over the United States.
Wow.
Because I feel like this is a curriculum that needs to be in every school system to help every single Black kid in America.
Wow. You know, too, as a female leader, sometimes we have certain challenges that we face just because we're female. Let's be honest.
Yes.
Right? I told you my involvement in the community, et cetera. What has been your journey, you know, thus far? And what keeps you positive and keeps you that drive and keeps you going?
So it has been an interesting journey. When we first started, we had a lot of volunteers. We had a surplus. And as time went on, obviously that dwindles down.
It changes.
Yeah, so, you know, some people couldn't take direction from a woman. I've gotten that, you know, and it's okay. If you want to start your own organization, I will help you because it's not anything like there's a competition. I think that's what happens a lot, especially in Black organizations. They feel like they have to compete with one another. No, we need to all work together. So, you know, we have a million problems in the Black community. Let's pick one and let's try and fix it.
Absolutely.
And we can work together.
And you just hit on something. Let's talk about some of the older organizations, you know, that's been around for a while versus some of the newer organizations. And you may reference, you know, to the NAACP. Do you find that you get support from some of the other organizations? And if so, how? Or do you see where there's, like you said, you know, some resistance or competition? Because millennials, we do things differently.
Yeah, definitely. I think I have gotten a lot of support, especially from NAACP and Urban League. They have been like my big sister organizations when I'm trying to build this organization. So I think my experience may be unique. I don't know.
Right.
But at least in DC, they have been more than willing to you know, help.
And lend a helping hand.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you to both of those organizations.
Awesome. Now, how you started was on social media. Let's talk a little bit about the impact of social media as it relates to politics and advocacy. Is it a powerful tool? And if so, how can we continue to use it in a positive way?
Yes, I think it is extremely powerful. I think we are now the news channel. So our cell phone is now doing stuff that ABC News can't do. They can't be on the ground right then when it's happening. You know, they just don't have that autonomy anymore. We do. We have our cell phones, clear picture.
Absolutely.
There's no hiding the truth. There's no spinning it. So I think that millennials do a good job of really unfiltering what's going on and really going, just really showing what's really going on and fixing the problems and showing what, you know, what the bad things are that are happening out here.
Okay. And this is true, especially with Facebook. You have Facebook Live and Snapchat, et cetera. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Now, as you continue to move forward, what is your bigger vision? I know I asked for 5 years, but ultimately,
I would like for Call to Action to be a household name, just in the areas of economics, political policy, and education. I want the Black community to know that we are an oasis of knowledge. So whatever you need, you can come here. We can recharge you.
it's like a hub.
It's a hub, yeah, just for whatever. If you
Great
need
information.
a bank loan, you know, we're going to teach you how to do that. So, you know, any question that you have moving forward and trying to progress in America, you know, come to us.
Come to
Yes.
Call to Action.
Call to Action.
Awesome. Well, this has been a pleasure.
Thank you.
I mean, seriously, this has been a pleasure. I will definitely remain in contact with you. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today for the show here with Lauryn. She did a phenomenal job. And we will definitely be in contact as we continue to move forward and taking action in our community. So thank you again. I look forward to seeing you guys at a later date.
Oh, beautiful, for spacious skies.
For centuries, the hopes, dreams, and promise of this great nation
has been shaped by the African American experience.
Now comes a museum to honor this legacy.
And finally tell their story. Tell all our stories.
A story of courage.
A story of achievement.
The story of a great American people continues. Help us make sure it's heard.
Why?
Why?
Why are you following me?
Why my hoodie make me look suspicious?
Why does my music make me dangerous?
Why are people that are supposed to protect me attacking me?
Why are you afraid of me? Why do you think I'm dangerous?
Why do I afraid of people who are supposed to protect me?
Why can't I make a peace sign without you labeling a gang sign?
Why does standing your ground only work when I'm on the ground?
Why do you show this photo over this one?
Why do you only stop and frisk me?
Why do you have low expectations for me?
Why can't I run down the street without causing alarms?
Why do you think I'm a thug?
Why do you assume I'm armed?
Why can I breathe?
Why is my mom scared every time I leave the house?
Why are you targeting me?
Why am I a target?
Why?
Why? Why? I know why.
And it has to stop.
It must stop.
Because I have dreams.
Because I can change the world.
Because I will make a difference.
Because I have a family.
Because I am strong.
Because I'm talented.
I have a voice.
I can find a cure.
I have goals.
I can lead the country.
I am determined.
I have a future.
Because I'm a scholar.
I am powerful.
I'm someone's friend. I'm someone's brother.
I'm someone's son.
Someone loves me.
And because my life matters too.
My life matters.
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 Our lives matter.
And so did theirs.
Lauryn, thank you again for joining me today. I had a wonderful time talking with you. You know, we're both involved in the community, so you even inspired me even more.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, to continue the work that we're both doing in our respective communities. So thank you again for sharing this information. I also want to thank Barrington Little for joining us earlier and visiting his website as well. That will be shown. And again, I hope to talk with you for part 2.
Yes,
Joining
I'm so
us.
excited.
Yes, and happy anniversary.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you so
welcome.
much.
Yes. Take care. See you guys soon.